I'm actually stoked to see Jameis Winston actually be healthy and get a full chance because I thought he was playing rather well last year. Let's talk about these Saints and can they keep the ball rolling by promoting Dennis Allen, keeping Carmichael, and just basically just trying to move forward from the Sean Payton era with a similar coaching staff. Let me hear your thoughts down below. Let's get ready. Now, if I butcher any names, I was raised by two immigrant parents whose third languages are English, so I am sorry. I sometimes pronounce stuff as if I'm going to pronounce it in a different language because I speak 3 languages as well, so it's a little bit more difficult. Not really, but like that's just my excuse. Either way, that's my excuse if I butcher any names. Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. And yes, these New Orleans Saints, look, Sean Payton stepped away in January to play, I mean, not to play, but to become a television guy, and that hasn't really worked out. But either way, Dennis Allen is a guy who's been, the defensive coordinator for a while. He's a guy that, in my opinion, he's done a great job. Okay, New Orleans ranked last in points allowed per game before he came. And then from 2017 to 2021, this team was ranked 6th in NFL points allowed per game, 20.9, and first in rushing yards allowed yards allowed per game with 94. They didn't allow 100 yards on average. That's really good in the modern NFL. And the Saints have already gotten, to the quarterback very well. They've registered basically 3 sacks per game since 27, which is the 3rd highest mark in the NFL. And people are going to be like, well, Dennis Allen was terrible as the Raiders coach. He had back-to-back 4-12 seasons in 2012 and 2013, then was fired after an 0-4 start in 2014. Look, for me, you have to understand, Reggie McKenzie, I'm pretty sure, was the GM, correct me if I'm wrong, right then, of the Raiders. And dude, that was the bad Raiders. That was like the Raiders when they were still a joke. Like, right before then, they were still having a quarterback battle between Jason Campbell and Jamarcus Russell, like literally 2 years before that. Or like a year. Now, Jameis Winston, people are going to be like, he's the first player to throw 30-plus touchdowns and 30-plus picks in a season. And he did that, in 2019. But that was his final year as starting as a quarterback. And look, since Tampa took him first overall in 2015, Winston has been picked off 91 times, allowing him to lead the NFL in that span despite him only playing 11 games in the past 2 seasons. And look, last year, he set career highs in a touchdown to interception ratio with 14-3 and had a passing rating of almost 103 with 102.8 before suffering that torn ACL. And this improvement was the fact that he was throwing so much less than he had in years prior, recording only 23 attempts per game. 23. He was only throwing the football 23 times a game. And listen to this. In Tampa, he was throwing it 35 times a game. And for me, I think that's not a slam. It's just telling him you don't have to throw the ball around like the yard a bunch, okay? And Bruce Arians' philosophy was always in Tampa. I know he wasn't always there, but his last year was no risk it, no biscuit. So Winston, you're putting him in a position to succeed, and basically what they're doing is like, look, we got Alvin Kamara, we got a good running game, okay? You just need to throw the ball 20 times, maybe 25 times. Just be a game manager. Use your strengths. If there's a touchdown there, we know how good of a football thrower you are. Also, you guys remember when Jameis Winston had that insane 50-yard run where he trucks somebody, fumbles, picks up his ball, runs, trucks another person? Let's see Jameis Winston run a little bit more. I know you just tore an ACL, but let's see you run. Let's see, Jameis Winston has the same escapability that Joe Burrow has shown. Okay, people forget the escapability and the mobility that, Winston. And look, the Saints were 5-2 and averaged 25 points when he started in games last year. They were 4-6 and 18.8 points per game when he was gone. It's safe to say that New Orleans' key to winning is Jameis Winston. And honestly, look, Malcolm Jenkins retired and Marcus Williams, they did the smart thing and didn't overpay him. What they did was bring back the Honey Badger, the New Orleans native, Tyrann Mathieu. Mathieu has 13 interceptions since 2019, which is ranks 5th in the NFL. And they paired him up with Marcus May, who, yes, he suffered a torn Achilles in week 9, but Marcus May was a guy who was on a franchise tag. Okay, so if you get the franchise tag, you're a pretty decent player. And Marcus May is a guy who was a borderline almost all pro this year before. And Cam Jordan, also Cam Jordan, Marcus May, and Tyrann Mathieu are all going to make I think a good pairing together. And for me, people are also forgetting all about this one man who still, I think personally, is one of the most underrated linebackers. I know he's 33, Demario Davis. Okay, I think he's underrated, and I still think he's a beast. And last year he had 105 tackles. Okay, he's still good. He's still a dog. Okay, so keep your eyes on Demario Davis. He's hungry. But guess who? Guess who is working out, and he's entering the final year of his rookie deal? Marcus Davenport, the guy that everyone's like, they traded up to select him 14th overall back in 2018, and he's been a solid and at times a high quality NFL players. And like since then, he had been kind of nothing special, more of a run guy, but this past year he had 9 sacks, and I feel like he's gonna hit double digits this year. I really do. I'm drinking cafe con leche. Let me take a sip of this cafe con leche. Let me finish it off. Oh, so expect Davenport, Mathieu, Marcus May, Demario Davis all to have big effects on this team. Now, 3 games that will be important. Also, shout out Adam Rank of NFL.com for this information. I use his State of the Franchise articles as kind of like a guide to help key points. He does a good job of this, so shout out to him. Link is in the description, like I always do for all the videos. Now, the Saints will be playing in London against the Vikings, so I think that'll be a big game. They got to beat the Vikings there, even though I want my Vikings to beat them. I'm a Vikings fan, so. Ooh. And then Cincinnati's another game. They got to play Cincinnati, and then in Week 15, they'll be playing Atlanta. I think this is a big game because if they are making a playoff push, they got to beat the Falcons. Now, obviously, Chris Olave from Ohio State, he had 35 receiving touchdowns in his career. He led the Big Ten last year with 13. And they brought in Jarvis Landry, who is a former teammate of Tyrann Mathieu. And they still have Michael Thomas. And people are acting like Michael Thomas isn't good anymore. Like, what? Michael Thomas. Dog barked something about something at a comment, but people were forgetting that, like, Michael Thomas. Okay, look, Landry had a career low last year in Cleveland, but he was banged up and often the only reliable target when he did play. So he was literally being like double covered or like completely covered at times. But he should be healthier. He's playing alongside Olave and Michael Thomas, and people are acting like Michael Thomas is like gone. He was the NFL's leading receiver from 2018 to 2019. And he hasn't played a game with Winston thanks to ankle injuries that have cost him all of last season and much of 2020. But this is a guy whose career numbers for passers not named Breeze are 89 catches, 1,000 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 12 yards per catch, which are encouraging. So Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, Alvin Kamara, and look, Kamara accounted for almost 26% of the Saints' total scrimmage yards last year, which is the 6th highest share in the NFL and the 3rd highest among running backs. He's also one of 2 players in NFL history with at least 4,000 rushing yards, 3,000 receiving yards in their first 5 seasons. The only other player is not soon to be, but should be Hall of Famer Roger Craig. Okay? And look, Kamara, I know he's subject to NFL discipline due to his arrest and booking for a battery in Las Vegas in February with a hearing for the case in August, but still. And look, I know they lost Taron, but they lost Armstead. They lost Armstead to the Dolphins. And yes, they still have, the right tackle, Ryan Ramczyk, Cesar Ruiz, and Eric McCoy, and Andres Piet. And look, they did bring in, with the 19th overall pick, Trevor Penning, and Penning received a 99.9 PFF grade in run blocking last year, which was the highest of any player in FBS and FCS with at least 200 snaps. And so, personally, I think they're going to put, Ryan Ramczyk over on left tackle, would you put Trevor Penning on left side? I would assume that they would want to start him on the right side. I mean, maybe they do start him on the left side. Tell me down below what you guys think. And yes, look, Sean Payton's gone. And think about Sean Payton's suspension in 2012. In 2011, they went 13-13 13-3, and then the following year when he was out, they went 7-9, then improved to 11-5. So hopefully, personnel wise, they'll do it, and they have to make the playoffs. Okay, I don't see anything around this. They have to make the playoffs. They have to make the playoffs. It's tough. This team is built to win, and they got to follow through. They got to follow through. They got to follow through, guys. Like, I truly do believe that this is a team that they got to follow through. And what is it? Pete Carmichael is the offensive coordinator now, and yeah, this team needs to follow through and get themselves a win. Okay, that's what they can't just be pussyfooting around, okay, anymore. They got to win. They got to win. This isn't, it's there. The time is nigh, as they like to say. So, I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts down below. And what are your opinions? Is there anything I missed out on? Is there anything you would have wanted to hear? But besides that, I think this is everything. I have an NBA channel. Link should be in the description. Check that out. I think that's basically it for me. Hope you guys did enjoy this. I mean, it sucks that Drew Brees retired, and then the following year you lose Sean Payton, the guy that you thought was gonna lead you through the dark period. But it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, okay? And I have faith that if there's anyone who could fix this, it's by running it back. And I know some people are going to be against what I'm saying, but I think I make good points. So I want to hear your thoughts down below if you guys share the same sentiments as me. But besides that, have a great